Hello YouTube and Infinite Magicraid community. By popular demand, we're going to have a Marius guide out to get ready for the Marius event that will start in a couple of days. So hopefully you can catch this video on release and be ready for the event and start farming right away. You notice we're actually doing the showcase first on my low spender account, and we're farming stage 30 on auto. Purposefully, I build a team that doesn't have any limited heroes in it. Hopefully try to make it a little bit more free to be friendly. So this is something that all of you can potentially work towards without feeling that you absolutely need a limited hero. Um, I think Mamook is probably a hero that you absolutely need in this composition. Nordak and Catherine as well, but both are Nordak and Catherine are guaranteed. What you will find is I think you could get away without Mamook, but Mamook is probably the best option here. I mean, if you have a Santa, I think you can replace Mamook with Santa. We can try that in a bit later. Mamook has a lot of benefit, which I'll talk through as we watch the auto here. What I'm going to go do is talk about each of the stage and what to particularly watch out for. The first round, basically, if you don't control them or use immortality, by stage 30 plus, you're going to take a lot of damage. Shields alone is not going to save you from all of those attacks. That's what you want to watch for in stage 1. So if you have a Santa that has high effective hit, go for the AoE freeze and burst them down right away. Or Nordak's immortality for 2 turns, damage immunity for 2 turns should take care of that particular problem. In wave 2, it looks a little bit scary with all of the HP burn on yourself. This is where having a lot of shields help because again HP burn maximum is going to do 5% of your health. The enemy doesn't have any base mastery to expand on that. So even at 5 stack you're losing 40% of your HP every turn. But you probably have 2 to 3 times the shield of your health. So it's not even going to eat through your shield. The dangerous part is actually coming from the 2 Milia. So if the Milias are actually attacking you directly, not Mamook, you could be in trouble. So that's why the early taunt to absorb those two multi-hit is super important. Okay. On the boss stage, things get a little bit tricky. Again, Mamook is the MVP here because the most dangerous skill from Marius that wipes you is actually skill 2. Skill 2 does a ridiculous amount of damage with a 500% multiplier. I'm actually eating most of it through the immortality from Mamook. So that's why you want a high speed Mamook that goes faster than the boss. So this is absolutely true at higher stages too. Near the end of this video, I will show on the whale account how I'm autoing stage 34 with a very similar team. So this is how you kind of focus on survivability. Mamook also has a benefit of stripping away the heals, the buff deep I guess the debuff resistance buff from Luna, which is super annoying because you can't land dots on anybody when that happens. So saving your skill 2 and your ultimate from Mamook is super important for the last wave. You noticed I blocked all of it. We'll go into the how to set up your skills after we go through the key things to watch for in this in the combat here. What I'm going to show here is while that's playing in the background is what you want to do is try to get your entire team to move before the ads. That's very important. So Luna is 1900. So if you're aiming to do stage 30, get all of your team above 1900 speed. That's just how to make things a lot easier from a turn order basis. If you want to get more out of things, your Nordak should be the slowest of everyone on the team. Um, I think that is the case here. My Nordak is 1957. Everyone else is faster. Okay, so Sigma needs to be just a little bit faster to make it right. My Nita is a little bit slower, but I mean, since the hero changes where Nordak actually gives 2 turns of damage immunity, it doesn't really matter that much anymore. But before, when it was only 1 turn, super critical to make sure Nordak goes last on your team. So you can see once taunt is up, you're really safe from the skill 2, which usually one-shots someone on your team. Without it, yes, it will hit through consolidation. Yes, it will hit through the shields. It hits very hard. Um, this, I mean, this is kind of the half the damage of the other one, right? So, oh, see, if you notice right there, right? The second Mamook did not have the taunt up, someone died. One shot, almost from full health. So um, that's something you got to be really careful about. But normally Mamook with the extension on skill 3, you pretty much have a permanent taunt up, which makes you super safe from it. See, like always hit the Mamook, right? That's what you're trying to do. Pretty sure Nita is going to take care of it, and the attack down from Mamook is also critical too, right? The other option to Mamook is French from the Brotherhood, but I mean Mamook is just way better because the longevity of the immortality and the taunt up, you don't have to worry about that cooldown gap in between where um, Marius could, take out one of your core DPS there. So that's kind of the thought process around it. We're probably going to just end battle once this battle is over, and we'll go through how the skills are set up. Okay, end battle claim. Okay, so let's take a look at. Oh, that was a nice epic. I gotta check that out later. But let's take a look at how the skills are set up and what you should keep, how you should think about building your team's turn order set up for it. Okay, so Marius, yes, it was farming 27 before, but now I can farm 30. So on this account, so you notice turn 1, right? Completely blocking out all of Mamook's skill because you really don't need it. What you're trying to do is focus on bursting down the opponent. Nordak, you just want to use Holy Shelter once, block everything else out because you're just trying to survive first 2 turns. Same with Catherine, save all your cooldowns. I'm sure you have better DPS hero than a E0 Sigmund, but here I'm trying to be free. Actually, that's actually my only HP burner on this account, believe it or not. It's kind of sad. Here you go. Nita's here, and then you got Sigmund, right? Nita's just gonna use Barry once, Sigmund once. That's enough to kind of finish off the first wave. Save your cooldowns. That's all what I'm suggesting. That's how you want to think about wave 1. If you don't have Nordak, you could try Santa. What you would do is you try to Santa freeze once, block it off, burst down the enemy real fast, and then get into wave 2. So once we go into wave 2, what you want to do is you bashfully taunt, right? You taunt up, you get your energy snatch up. It works out well because I never actually cycle to the second round of energy snatch, so it just comes down to how quickly you can DPS down your opponent. What's nice is because with Nita, I'm just abusing the turns and bondage. By the time I used like the second bondage, the enemy would have been completely wiped out, but Mamook would have only used energy snatch once, not to use a second time to bring down the cooldown. So you're gonna have to play around with your DPS capabilities here. Like if you're killing the enemy way too fast, it creates a problem when your cooldowns are not coming back fast enough. Basically, the way it's set up on the second wave for this is I'm just abusing shields, shield up as much as I can, and go with that. The key thing to do on wave 3 is taunt up right away. You can see that Mamook is 2300, so that is faster than the boss, right? The speed is good all the way up to stage 35, I believe. You don't have to go that fast. I think the boss is only 2100, if I recall correctly, at stage 30. So just go in there, you can check the boss stats, and just make sure your Mamook is faster than the boss so that you taunt and take that first hard hit with Mamook. Nordak is going to start off with a shield. This is important to make sure this is faster than TAF at a minimum because you don't want your team to eat intertwined and another layer of poison. So this is really going to start when I was doing stage 35 on my main account was at stage 35, the tap poison will literally pop your Santa's apple. That was before the introduction of Nordak on your team, but it literally will pop your apple with just one tick of poison. So that's how hard the ads were hitting at stage 35. Um, so you want to deal with the TAF ultimate up front like that. This is pretty standard. Catherine coming up, shielding. You want to start off with your ultimates, right? Like just trying to get rid of the ads as soon as possible. If you got Hez and you got, you know, high damaging heroes, that's not a problem at all. Okay, so hopefully this gives you a good idea around, what you can do on stage 30. I think the key thing to watch out for is, I mean, you need to make sure when Luna uses skill to, I mean, two options. One, enough DPS saved to burst down Luna and Taf before Luna uses the cleanse capability. Um, or alternatively, you know, set up Mumuk in a way so that you can strip them off and be able to take a couple hits there. Normally, I actually don't use Catherine. I actually prefer to use Santa and Nordak together because the counterattacks don't add as much value because unlike stages like Rum or Grillin where the boss AoE you constantly, you don't get as much benefit out of counterattack. So you're better off just using a Santa if you have one. Okay, so let's take a look at autoing at much higher level for our whale friends out there. We're going to switch over to the other account. Okay, so I'm going to show you a similar setup, but here is stage 34. So you can see I did clear stage 35, but I don't auto stage 35 because I keep hitting the 300 turn limit just because how bulky the boss is, not because I'm dying. It's just the pure sheer bulk from the boss. It's ridiculous. So again, same idea, right? Start off with Mamook. Here I'm choosing to Santa Freeze up front. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna just use one turn of Mamook just to so I can get a little bit more turn in to make sure I kill the enemy. Um, I'm freezing once. I should be blocking this. Um, and Nordak is going to shield up just in case whatever gets through, right? Remember what I said is by the time your farming stage is this high, a single AoE from the enemy is really going to kill you. Here I'm using Little Jack with a Mastery Boost, and I've got an E5 Hizanja that's decently built. Um, so that's what I'm doing on the first wave. Okay, the second one. The second way what you're going to do is you're going to start off with a taunt. And here is where I'm going to save the energy snatch here because I do want to make sure I have it available for next turn. I am going to freeze it, shield up, and really shield up just a lot from Nordak, and it's fine. The damage from Hazandra is just ridiculous. You also notice that for all the stages, if you're using a Hazandra, by the way, I strongly recommend you get rid of all the bully. You get way more damage out on the waves and even on the boss stage. Just you're better off just stacking more layers of it because that allows your Dragon Flames to trigger more layers. Unless you're using a Catherine here, which you could. If you don't have Nordak, you could use Catherine. But I think I was farming 32 without a Nordak, but with Nordak, I'm farming 30, 34 now. So Catherine before, yes, you could leave Bully on because you could get up to almost 5 stacks with the counterattack, so it would be worth it to use Bully as well. But for the most part, my recommendation is leave Bully out unless you have something like Ben Austin in here that's letting you reach those high stacks. Or if you're running double DPS, something like the new hero from the Brotherhood where Lee Han John or something, the Korean name girl that they introduced, allow you to have high stacks of HP burn. Yes, definitely use Bully if you use that with Hazanja together. And pretty much, again, you're totally flexible in these two last slots for what DPS you use. Little Jack is I mean, if you're whaling you probably have little jack, so E2 plus really helps, right, with the mastery. So enough talking. Um, let's go into the actual. We'll just do one, so it goes through relatively quickly. We'll watch it back to battle scene and see what happens, right? So wave one very quickly. Okay, we're already deep into it, so you quickly saw the freeze, right? And they do have a lot of HP, but like this is a lot of damage. But with the amount of speed I have on my team here, I am getting 3 turns around. So depending on what you have, you just have to set it up in a way that you do have enough DPS to kill everybody. And oh my god, that was close, right? You can see with the amount, just 2 AoEs there that I missed. Oh, that's kind of embarrassing there. I actually auto 30, auto, without any issue early on for 17 times, and I actually shared that in guild chat, but not sure what happened here. Let's just end now. Let's quickly fix that. So let's get right into it, and uh, hmm. Oh, that's the mistake. Accidentally blocked that off. Stage one. I was like, no wonder. Okay, so mistake fixed. Sorry about that. We won't edit it out. So just so you remember, Hazanja, you want to make sure that you do start with the strong arm, but make sure you don't block the dragon flame. You do need it to get enough damage through there. This is probably the better setup because you get to trigger the Wang Striller. So there we go. I was like, no wonder it was failing. That was kind of embarrassing. So second time's a charm. Let's go right into it. Okay, freeze. Okay, so now you can see Hazanja is gonna do his big AoE and things start falling apart pretty quick for the enemy. Yep, everything's just dying out. Yep. So you can see with that kind of setup, right, I'm not gonna even get hit a single time. Oh, that's one hit. Yeah, but it's usually fine. Like you can take one hit. So I guess, messing up did kind of show you the amount of damage output the enemy has on stage 34. So maybe it wasn't a, you know, just so that you guys know. You really got to set up your skills that the enemy doesn't take a turn, or if they're hitting you during the wave stages, that damage immunity up. Else things are gonna fall apart real fast. Okay, so we're on the boss stage now. You can see if you can freeze it and see you can see how much damage it did to Mamuk, right? Like if it weren't for the immortality, the apple would have been popped. So you can see here, again, Santa being broken, freezing it twice. If, so yeah, from here is just home free. Having Jack does additional 40% attack down. But you can see the difference here without Catherine. So with Catherine, it allows your Mamuk to be constantly counterattacking because the taunt is up, right? So that's the benefit of using Catherine with Mamuk together, is that you can also get Mamuk's attack down onto the target, so that get 40%. You can see all the way till now, right? Finally, I got that attack down from Mamuk onto the target. Sometimes with the talent that allows the cooldown reduction, Mamuk actually doesn't do an auto attack for a while. So this way having Little Jack really helps with the damage reduction by reducing, like, having that permanent attack down there. So yeah, so this is stage 35. Now, if you got better DPS than Hez and Little Jack, you're welcome to use the same setup. Pretty sure it's gonna work for stage 35. And yeah, so this is kind of the key heroes you want to use to help survive this particular wave. Now, I'm gonna give a shout out to Carzak, who put out a video earlier today, or was it yesterday, showing how broken Lydia combined with Marvel with Nordak is. And I recommend you check it out because that's another really good strategy to take advantage of the new limited heroes. Because the idea here is with both of them reducing the cooldown of Nordak, you pretty much have the damage immunity up the entire time. So you also get the attack up and the skill damage up from Lydia. So using an attack-based hero will really help in that situation. So yeah, good luck on your Marius event. Hope you get luck with good drops and plays well on the event. Uh, Gandalf is done here with this guide. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave in the comment below. And if you like what I've showed you today and you would like to support me, please subscribe, like, and I'll see you next time.